Thanks for coming. Thanks for coming up. Thanks for coming down from Monterrey, California.
Always a pleasure, Professor.
Aaron Cruz, Mike Donios,
Thank you for having us.
partners at Alta Performance,
That's us, Monterrey, Salinas. Started off
Salinas.
in
Okay, you have a location in Salinas as well, right?
Right. We subleased a little small spot.
Uh-huh.
We initially started out over there and eventually progressed over to the Monterey area.
How long have you guys been open?
So we've been in business about almost 2 years now.
2 years?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. Coming
Time
up.
flies, huh?
Yeah, time does fly. I got to look at him. I was like, damn, has it been 2 years? Sometimes it seems longer.
How's the pandemic been treating you guys?
Mike,
you guys got this big location, right, in Monterey?
Well, Mike's been a business owner before. It's my first time, so I really didn't know what I was getting into. But luckily, I had Mike, as a partner, which is a great partner and a good friend of mine as well. So, there's always that, the risk of, mixing business and pleasure.
Yeah, for sure.
And I was fully aware of that when we decided to do this together. And, the thing in my forefront of my mind, I know how business can get with money and everything like that. But I never would have went into it not, assuming preparing, for the worst, right? Because I would hate for something to happen and us not be friends after that. You know what I mean? And so
there's always that chance that might happen, right?
For sure, for sure.
So I'm fully aware of that. That'll probably be the worst possible scenario, for me. It's different for everybody, and I respect everyone's position on why they do things, and that's my position.
Yeah, it's understandable. Like my wife never wants to go into business with family, so, they say it's the worst, but sometimes it works. I know lots of people with, their best friends and they have a great business, for forever together. So it can totally work.
Yeah, there's always those challenges, right? But I think us being friends, good friends, were made it easier. I felt, especially kind of the challenging times like now, right?
Yeah.
We've been through. It's been almost 2 years, but sometimes
When has it not been challenging?
Yeah.
Right. 2 years. Everyone's messaging you. How are you guys doing?
Yeah.
And you should have checked in when we first got into this. How we're doing?
It's been tough. It's been very challenging from, first Aaron reaching out to me. My background from an educational standpoint, went to school of organizational development leadership over at USF in San Francisco, and then ended up going into human resources. Did that for about 10 years.
Wow.
8 years. 8 years when I met Aaron.
So you graduated from the University of San Francisco.
Yeah.
And did human resources for 10 years.
Yeah, started off as a recruiter and then
Nice.
just kind of stayed in the healthcare industry.
Uh-huh.
And then eventually, grew to hate it. Not the job itself, but just who I became, right? I drank too much. My wife told me I had a problem. I was almost 200. I was about 200 pounds.
Wow.
Constant headaches. I was always seeing a physician, trying to see what's going on, my chronic headaches and all of this, these things going on. And I was feeling it was stressful, right? Being sedentary, sitting 8-10 hours. And then thankfully, I got to a point in my life where I knew if I stayed in this role and who I was, this person who I was at that time, I was going to die. I just felt that way. And then I was looking for something. And then all of a sudden Aaron calls me out of nowhere. He's like, hey man, this lady hit me up, wants me to take over the front spot and eventually take over the location. I was like, yeah, let's do it. He's like, are you down? I'm like, I'm totally down.
We had talked like 2 years prior before all this. He was living in San Jose, and he was living in. We were roommates for a little bit in Salinas, and then he ended up getting married, having a kid, moving to San Jose. So of course, stuff happened, things change, and we're not as in touch as we were when we lived together. Obviously, we're seeing each other every day, but we still stayed in touch. And then but lives get busy, And I remember we started, randomly messing each other, just, not close together, but just, hey, how's it going here and there. And then I think Mike had messaged me, and he was doing a hike out in, where was that? Bodega Bay.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, yeah,
and he
yeah.
exactly what he just told you right now. We sat in the car, and he told me the exact same thing when we were in the car. And I just remember feeling really empathetic, about that, because I understand from I've been doing the TACFIT CST stuff, and I'm just like, this is why I do what I do, because, this is my friend. And I see people that, I wish they would take care of us, but now this is my actual friend, and he understands, what I do. And so he's talking to me from that understanding level, how his body feels. And we went on that hike. We had good conversations and talk. It was nice catching up again. Met up with some other friends. And then I think shortly after that, you ended up moving back to Marina, not too much longer. And then we were hanging out at another friend's house, having some drinks. And we just started, and that's how stuff happens. That we start talking about ideas like, what if we go into business together? We do this, this, and this. And then we talked about it, and we seemed really serious about it. And then a year or so went by, and then that's where Mike's talking that popped up. And I was like, hey, remember we had this conversation? Like, a lot of people talk about stuff in passing and not serious. Yeah. But I knew we were serious, so that's why I ran it back by him again. And so, and then we just, we sat there and we just looked at each other a second, and we just pulled the trigger and just did it. One decision, right? Yeah. Changes everything.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I mean, like I said, I was at that point in my life searching for something, and it just came right across, right? And then I've always taken the approach, like, I don't want to wonder what if, right? So, cashed out my 401k and took whatever I had from that. We just started a business from there.
And it was inspiring for me too. I was super flattered that he believed in me that much to want to do that with me. I was blown away. And it actually
I believe in you, man. So I'm not,
stuff like that recharges my passion. To do all this stuff. It puts my whole body on fire. It makes me want to do more, above and beyond than I could ever do, because I just never had people that believed in me like that, believe it or not. And so when that happens, I'm blown away.
Yeah, I mean, I saw it. I mean, this guy had a following, even though, at the time when I was talking with him, he was at another location.
Floating around,
just kind of floating around. But he would still, even though he was floating around, he'd still have the same people following him. And if you have that loyal following, there's a reason for that, right? I know just from a personal standpoint, being friends with him, he generally cares, right? And that comes across 100%. In his training with his clients. And, in business, your fitness, you can get anywhere these days, right? On your phone, right? Yeah, you can buy it wherever you want, right? It's the experience, right? It's how people feel when you're engaging with them. Right. That is going to be a determining factor if you're going to be in this for the long haul, right? Because people can eventually find out, right? If you don't really care, then they're going to know. They're going to know, right?
Sure. You guys have known each other you guys grew up together, right?
For the most part, yeah.
All grade school and same town.
Marina.
A lot of the same friends, same circle of friends.
Yep.
And you went to school with E6's brother, right?
Yep. Went to Seaside High with E6's brother, and we all kind of generally just floated. It's a small town.
And he played ball with my brother. They were on a legit football team.
Yeah, Jesse.
That was undefeated.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
they were good.
Yeah. So, and played, pony baseball with his brother. So, Marina's a really small town, so know everybody in there. And so, and all the families kind of grow up around each other. So
military town.
So it's a pretty close-knit community. So it's pretty cool being able to, as we progress through our lives, to continue on these bonds, as we go forward.
Sure. You're Mexican and Filipino.
Right. Half. Yeah. So my mom's Filipino, dad's Mexican. Yeah. So
have you gone to the Philippines?
No, actually, we were. We were supposed to go this year.
You went?
Yeah. This guy's been. Yeah. You tell me it's amazing. Yeah, my wife, she's from the Philippines. She always tells me, you got to go back to the homeland, right? We were actually supposed to go this year. Super excited to go. And then, all this lovely stuff happened. So we're like, all right, I guess not in the cards.
Manny Pacquiao fans?
Of course. Yeah, for sure. Pac-Man all the way.
I love all his music.
There you go. I'm not sure if
Better
I'm that much of a
punch you in the
fan.
face.
That's
Man.
it.
And so I just kind of going back, like I always like to hear people's stories, you know, like you're working, you were gaining weight, you were totally unhealthy,
Right.
and you're in, you know, there's like a recipe for, you know, bad stuff to happen, right?
Yeah.
Sooner or later, right?
Yeah, I was gonna fall down that trap of modern medicine, right? I was trying everything, right? Because
Like a medicine.
I was trying. I didn't want to go down the route of kind of seeing a doctor, right? A doctor.
For your migraines. Tell me
For my
what
Oh, for your
migraines.
migraines.
For my
I see.
migraines.
I see.
So for my migraines.
Listen to this. This is how amazing healthcare is. in
So
this
I
country.
went, I started seeing a chiropractor. I was like, maybe it's my muscles, whatever. Because I had a limited amount of knowledge just living with these guys, right? And I was like, okay, well, it's a little bit of a Band-Aid, right? I'd feel better for maybe a couple days or a week, and then later I'd get it back again. And I tried acupuncture. Once again, felt like a Band-Aid. I'd feel good a couple of days, maybe a week or so, then it'd come right back. Then I finally gave in. I was like, I gotta go see my primary care physician. Went in there, saw him, put me through a questionnaire. He's like, okay, took all my vitals and gave me this questionnaire. And the questionnaire was, you go through, it's like, oh yeah, how do you feel today? How much do you sleep? Do you think about killing yourself? I'm like, oh, what the? I was like, oh, I know what this is, right? They're trying to see if I'm depressed or if I'm crazy or something like that. So went through, answered all these things, just due to my stress headache is what he diagnosed me for. And what he tried to prescribe to me was SSRIs, depression medicine, right? And I was like, nah, doc, I'm good. And I'm not saying he's a bad doctor. I mean, this is what they're trained to do, right? They diagnose based off of the symptoms that they've been taught to recognize. At that point, I knew it's like, I can't go that route, so I need to do something different. And so I was looking to make a change, and it just all happened to be and center around fitness and health, right? Going into business with this guy. So once I made that decision,
Why didn't you just take the pill or the drugs? It's like the easy way, but of course, like it's like
So many
not the,
people
it's
do,
not the
right?
quick. It's not the
That is a
quick.
good
It's
question.
not. You kind of get addicted. Like it's a slippery slope, right?
I think
But
you
why
said it,
why didn't you choose it?
because you had a little bit of the knowledge of what we did.
it was
maybe a
that.
little
It
bit,
was
right?
definitely that. It was definitely, I know there's ways that you can heal yourself and help yourself, right? Case in point, this guy, I know his story about his neck, right? Basically broke his neck. And then through CST and TACFIT, he was able to heal himself, right? Essentially. And I know there was additional options out there. This wasn't the end all be all, right? This what are this doctor's telling me,
Right.
is good advice for certain people, maybe, right? That really do. There's people that have clinical depression, right? I felt personally, I didn't. And I felt that I had additional options out there. And before I go down that route, I owe it to myself and my family, my kids, my wife, to try to better myself before I explore that option, right? So, I mean, I don't know what to put it on. I just knew, I felt that there were different things out there that I can do. And, thankfully it all came together, and I figured if I'm going to go into fitness business, I can't be a fat owner, right? So I had to get my shit together, basically. So, while we were developing our business plan, while we're planning, I worked out with this guy every day. So, and we were
It's not intense, just
CST tech,
light,
right?
moderate
Moderate intensity, yeah. That's it. All the right way, right?
Oh yeah, it was
do
real
that every
easy.
day.
It was real
That's
easy.
it, yeah.
And in 6 weeks, I got down, because we were developing our 6-week program over at Alta. And in 6 weeks, I lost, I think it was like 23 pounds, somewhere around there. So I was about 176.
How about that headache?
Gone.
How long after? How many weeks?
That's probably one of the first things.
That was one of the first things that I noticed.
How many weeks do you think?
Oh, not even 2.
2 weeks. That's I feel like 2 weeks is the magic number for people to feel CST and TACFIT. If they come in consistently for 2 weeks, they start to feel it, and then you kind of become addicted to it because it works, right?
Right. Yeah. And you don't know why.
Right. You're like, oh, I used to have
it.
a shoulder pain, but it doesn't hurt anymore, or whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
And
headaches or
our 6-week program, and I would, I'd check in with people, after the first week, second week, and like you said, after the second week, when I talk to people, they have all these epiphanies. They're like, I don't know how many times I've heard I'm off my hypertension meds. I took pain aspirin or ibuprofen for the last 10 years, and I haven't taken it in the last 10 days. And I hear, and I just over and over and hear that stuff. They're telling me that, like, I can't believe it, and I'm hearing it like there's another one and another one and another one. But I have to be there with them, like that excitement, right? Yeah. Because it's them; they're excited. Yeah. You want it, you want that. But for the people that aren't training with me, they need to know that this can be repeated again. Because everyone thinks that
it's repeatable.
He can do it, I can't. I'm stuck this way. Or they go to the doctor and they tell them they have an itis or they have this.
An itis.
Yeah, right. And then they come out and they tell all their friends that I have this. The doctor said I had this.
It's
so
a
I
death
can't
sentence.
do this.
That's how it is. I can't change it.
Yeah. That diagnosis becomes them. Right. I am this. Right.
And my story, right, with the MS. I went to the doctor. I every 5 years they make you do brain MRI.
Oh, okay.
And so the doctor calls me in before my next fight. And like, hey, we need to talk to you. And that's not a good thing to happen, right? So I go in, and he's like, it looks like you have you have lesions in your brain. It looks like you have multiple sclerosis. And then we did a bunch of tests, and he was like, yeah, sorry, like you have so you have, and then he basically gave me a stack of drug books to look at to decide which one I wanted to take. And then first it was just kind of a shock, and then I was like, can I still do jujitsu? And he said yes. And so then I was like, okay, cool. At least I can do that, right? Because everybody was treating me like my life's over, basically.
Isn't that amazing?
And he gave me the stack of drug books, and I started to look at the things. I just looked it up, and it says it may or may not help you.
Yeah, nice.
Who knows?
And then because I had met Scott, my subconscious was like, there's got to be a better way. I just didn't take the answer like, oh, I have to take the drugs, And so then I remembered Scott, and I went to the TACFIT cert, and things started to change, man. Awesome. I couldn't move, I couldn't put my seatbelt on. I was able to. Oh wow. Everything hurt, so I just want to stay in bed all day, train and do what I have to do. But the rest of the day, I would just be like, because everything hurt, So like if I'm in bed, like I'm not in pain. And then, of course, like fatigue from that, right?
Right.
So it was like a cycle, and then
like someone like yourself that's been active their whole life. Now I've been active my life, and I've been put down like that.
Yeah, my life's over, right?
I was so depressed, I was miserable. I can imagine that.
And then you like start to Google and you start to do research, right? And like these guys are in wheelchairs after like 6 months. Some people, Wow. Depending, they have a hard time walking. And I had like balance things, and I'm still working on it, but I'm getting better and better, And my energy, like, it's like instead of like my life is, it's all downhill from here, And like I'm getting better and better and better with time and all the stuff, all the, connecting my breath to my movement and all the CST and TACFIT things,
It's just a new chapter, right?
The best is yet to come.
Right.
Yeah. Instead of like, life's over. And so, yeah, like just working with TACFIT just gives me so much energy, I'm just so grateful and happy to. Just gives me so much energy because I know what it can do for people. I know, but it's not for me, So anybody that's involved, like, I don't know. I care so much. I can't explain it, But I've traveled around the world, all over the world, man. Central America, Brazil, like all over Europe, like, oh man, so many times, I can't even, and yeah, it's just like.
I got a question
really
for
connected.
you. So when you started your process, when you got back into CST and TACFIT, how was that for you to know that you were in so much pain, so had so much discomfort, and then I can imagine you started with the mobility, right?
I just showed up. Scott, he always made time for me to, we messaged each other on Facebook. I just got reconnected with him because he helped me for one of my UFC fights back in the day, and then my subconscious just remembered him, and was like, and just said hello, and then he was nice to me, and then somehow he invited me to do one of those TACFIT certs. That was the last one actually that he taught, coincidentally, and then I just showed up at the cert.
Nice.
No idea. He gave me some things to prepare, but I didn't prepare, And then I just showed up, and it was, he did this blog on me when we did like our training back in the day, and I learned so many things from that. I never forgot it, you know.
Wow.
And I always wanted to continue, but I would go to the old RMAX website, and I was like, you know, I didn't trust it, you know. And like the pictures of the guys, like the coaches, it just wasn't like, I guess what I had meant. I just didn't know if it was like legit or not.
It's the cryptic website,
right? You know, you know, yeah. So I just kind of, I always wanted to do it though, but there was no place to go to. So hopefully we can change that.
And then doing the reps and going through that process, was it humbling to?
I mean, you know, at the beginning, right? So I was speaking of like, you know, all like being in bed and stuff, I would take ibuprofen, you know, my probably like 15 years, you know, almost every single day, you know, like caffeine and ibuprofen, just to kind of be able to deal, you know. And yeah, and then after probably, I think that couple week mark.
Wow. That's amazing.
Like I kind of started to feel it, right? And that's why I always kind of think like it's that 2 week mark of being consistent.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Like you start to see things, you feel things, you know, and then you're like, oh, this is like legit, you know.
Body starts decompressing.
Right. Everything starts working better. Like
range of motions a little bit.
Yeah,
right?
like just a little bit, right? But it's enough to be like, man, like
it's noticeable.
It's noticeable.
Yeah,
I'm not in pain. I'm less inflammation. That, you know. So you know, Robert was right there with me. You know, I went to the thing, and then I you know, went to Panama with Gordo, you know, and he helped me because he was a jiu-jitsu guy, you know, and so he helped me out, and he spent the whole week with me, kind of showing me things.
Those are all great guys I met, Gordo.
Yeah, you know, yeah. So he helped me out, and you know, kind of bring me to the system and stuff, and then I kind of tried to learn it. We tried to bring everything back, and like I said, like Robert, we just started doing it, and like I said, we did our best, right? But there was enough content and stuff out there that we could kind of, you know, figure it out, and then I started following, you know, the whoever was any workshop that was on the calendar. I did it, you know. Yeah. I really committed because I started to feel the difference. I didn't dream. Like I've said like the story a lot of times, but I started to dream. I hadn't dreamt for like probably like 10 years. You know. Anyway, I can, you know, my story, you know. But like it's really like it's given me like a second chance, like my life back in a way, you know. So it's like it's just it just gives me energy, so much energy to kind of work with it, you know. It's made my jiu-jitsu better, you know. It's allowed me to be a better teacher, be a better mentor to my students.
Nice.
You're right, to make them better and to be able to sustain the training for the rest of their lives, you know, in the best possible way. Yeah. So I mean that's
amazing. I mean, I've done it with people that are like 80 years old. Mm-hmm. It's totally stiff. Next thing you know, they're doing Cossack squats, springing tripods, and I'm like, wow, you dye your hair next.
Yeah, we had one of our lovely members, Delna. I mean, she just always comes to mind, and she came in there, you know. She's like, I feel this old, but I shouldn't be feeling this old, right? And then she worked with us. I think it was maybe at the 6 month mark. She went to go climb Mount Whitney, summited Mount Whitney.
How old is she?
How
old was she?
How old do you think she is?
I don't know.
Without disclosing, yeah, we're not going to disclose
60s?
that.
50s?
Probably 50s.
Yeah, she has to be in late 50s.
Okay.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
And she summited faster than we tried to go and summit Mount Whitney. We didn't make it up, just the weather. Yeah. But she made it up there faster than we did. And she's just amazing. And it just goes, and she remains constant, right? She goes through.
Always shows
she's
up.
consistent.
Always
Every time. If she doesn't show up one day, I'm wondering, I gotta call her like before class starts. Make sure she's all right.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it just goes a testament of the system, right?
That's like me, you know, like I do it every single day. It's like a way of life,
right?
You know? It's a lifestyle.
Yeah, and it's noticeable, like you said, if you stop doing it for a while, stop having that movement in your life. You know, if you're not moving, you're dying, right? So you feel it.
If you don't use it, you lose it, right?
Yeah.
It's probably the one time where, you know, you could look on the other side of the fence of CST and the grass is greener, and it is greener over there. You better stay over there.
Yeah,
for sure.
Well, I appreciate you guys, you know, spreading the word and doing the great work that you guys are doing up in that area. It's if anybody's up there, you know, like you guys are the place to be.
Yeah.
Alta Performance, TACFIT, CST, and the whole Viking Ninja.
We just want to connect that synergy all around the world, you know.
That's it.
Every community.
Yeah.
And now we got
we create TACFIT academies around the world.
Club Bell mobility 101?
Yeah, so we're all down here, right? You're shooting the club bell mobility, right? And 101. And, we're doing like the little photo shoots and all that. And I'm like checking you out. And I was like, okay, cool. Of course, I trust, whatever he does, because if he's doing the reps and it's his life, right?
Right.
And then I start seeing him like tweaking his wrists and like, really doing the things like that I feel like I need to do, And I'm like a super deep understanding. And I'm like, man, I got so excited. Like once he started doing those poses, like little flick of the wrist, because my arm lines are still jacked, I still have so much gunk, And you're talking all the language that, just subconsciously I'm like, this is what I need to do, So I'm really excited about that. The
Super
club bell
excited.
mobility.
And I've been teaching club bells so long. Like I understand the difference between the 5s and the 10s is huge. It's not even that. I mean, the difference between 10 and a 15 is probably less substantial than a 5 and a 10. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Because
for
the
sure.
lever
For
along
sure.
and
Of course,
right?
yeah, of course.
And because of that, everyone sees the 5-pounder. Maybe they see it as, like maybe it's the ego talking to them a little bit. It's that light little weight. What do I do with it? Or I'm not going to get much out of it. Where when I'm teaching people, if they grab a 10-pounder, I can't get them to do the technique properly because they don't have that connection from their grip on all those lines to reinforce the shoulder strength, connect to the core all the way to the ground, right? They're leaking out of there, and it'll show
down
up.
to your feet, through your body down to your feet.
And when you use those light 5-pounders and you're just adding weight to the end of your arms, just like if you were at a monk's temple holding 2 buckets of water, walking upstairs out to the side, that seems like nothing for 1 second, right? But if you walk up all those stairs, you're holding, see how long you can hold it like that, or, you go through reps like that, the control, well, then now you have something, right? Now you're going to be able to have that bridge from the 5s to the 10s. Your technique is going to be a lot cleaner, crisper, and you'll be able to progress without getting hurt and going backwards or being frustrated, right?
Man, like, making light heavy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And heavy
and,
light,
and
whatever,
Eric
right?
is great at that. He explains that with his mace stuff, and he
Same
shows
principles,
that.
right?
Yeah, same thing. Yeah.
And just watching you do it, like just holding those poses for a few seconds with these little 5-pound weights, I'm like, what,
Yeah, I was feeling it earlier.
Exactly. Yeah, and exactly what you're saying. I'm like, what, I'm like, that's deep understanding. Tweaking your legs all the way down. Just deep understanding. So. Yeah, I'm really excited to kind of explore that, and learn from you.
And I would teach, like I taught a mobility class. It would be around like the 9 a.m. time, and I would get a lot of baby boomers in there, and they just want to feel good. They don't care about, pumping hard or getting all buff or anything. They're like, I just want to feel good and move around about my day. And they love the mobility class. And so I would do that, and I'd once I'd see their mobility improve. What am I going to do? Just keep doing the same intensity mobility? No, I'm going to be like, here, now grab this club bell and do your mobility with this light club bell. And they totally dug that. They were, and it was accessible for them. These people are like 70, 80 years old, and they're able to move club bells around and eventually be able to do mills and all this stuff just by doing something that made them feel good about the rest of their day. Next thing you know, they're stronger and this and that. And they're like, wow, I didn't even know I could do that. And still, they don't even care about doing that. But they have that strength. They notice it, and it carries over throughout their regular lives. And that's what they care about.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. I don't know why, it just clicked for me when I was like watching you do those poses. Just to see like a strong dude make with the little tiny little club bells, right? And like you're like it's like it's like a 45-pounder,
Struggle bus for
and it's just a tiny little weight, but because of all the way you're activating, with the way you're holding it, that's a lot of practice. That's a lot of years.
And because of developing the strength in those extreme ranges, that's what's going to help you. Like if you want to mill a 35 or a 25, you feel the need to do that. And of course, you don't want, that's going to hurt you if you're not prepared for it. This will prepare you for that. You only got 2 options when you mill a 35 or a 25. Either your arm's going to rip off or you're going to get benefit. Those are the only 2 options. And so if you don't have the prerequisites there to do that, then you already know what's going to happen, right? Any tool will hurt you.
Yeah, for
if
sure.
you don't respect it. So.
Yeah, thank you for thank you for fixing your neck and watching the Scott Sauna DVDs when he still had hair, so we can all benefit from it.
For sure.
Thank you for doing that.
Super thankful.
Well, I appreciate you, Professor. You really, lit the fire back, put the gasoline back on the ember of TACFIT. And, I'm sure, I could speak for Scott Sonnen, if he doesn't mind that. I'm sure he appreciates that and everything we're doing. I'm super excited to do right by him and, make this what it always should have been.
Should have been. Yeah, you guys have been leaders, since kind of, when I go back in time, like when, the name TACFIT was first created, you guys were the OGs, the originals. You yourself, ESIC, and then just to kind of have you guys, back in the mix, officially, not that you ever went anywhere, but like just back in the mix, like officially, like, man, it's like so powerful for me, especially like because we're American, just being here, it started here too. And just, I know I'm not just speaking for myself, but people have messaged me from like all over the world. Guys that used to travel to the U.S. to do this, to get certified.
That was one of the best parts about those surges, meeting all the wide variety of people from around the world. It's amazing.
Korea, Japan, like crazy. Australia, New Zealand.
Just have that
all over the
connection,
country. Right? Yeah, amazing. It's amazing. Like it blows my mind when I really think about it. How it's spread all over the world. And it didn't have anything really in place to kind of support the community. So
the system's so great. The healing powers of it is undeniable. So, it's like either you're going to take the blue pill or you're going to take the CST pill.
There you go. Yeah, no, it's super exciting just seeing how it's kind of blossoming again, so to say, right? Just seeing the engagement of the community. I wasn't around when it was first coming around. When I was around these guys, but I wasn't in the industry, right? But just seeing like the call that everybody had, just seeing, like you said, people from across the world, super excited, super engaged, just wanting more, right? And it was cool having Scott on as well, and I got to actually listen to him speak. And
you were teaching class, right?
Yeah, it was funny. I was telling him, remember we were running some classes online, and in the other room we had the call up, and then
the online, the virtual
the workshop,
TACFIT
yeah.
workshop, yeah.
So he had it on the other side, and then he goes, hey, he calls me, and he's like, what's going on? And then he's like, Scott's talking, and I was like, oh, hey, and then I was talking to my other instructor. I was like, you got this? She's like, yeah, I got it. And I was like, all right, cool. So I went, I had to go, Scott's talking, right? So I had to go check it out. So it was really, really interesting, just kind of the knowledge that he brings to the table.
Yeah.
I feel bad for anyone does never heard this guy speak or sat and listened to him, because he's like he's our modern day, Albert Einstein. You know what I mean? Up. More than that.
Straight up.
Just the amount of information he absorbs is astounding.
Yeah, it's crazy, huh? It's crazy.
Yeah.
We had like close to 70 people in that class, right?
Yes.
And everybody turned their cameras on. Everybody straightened up posture, as soon as he got on,
And he's always
I don't know if you noticed that,
And he's always like, maybe I'm talking too much. I don't know if you guys want to hear this stuff. And we're over here like, going. Don't stop.
Right. Yeah, it was all good information for sure. Definitely.
It's talking numbers, COVID.
Yeah. Oh, man.
The number one thing was like just people are unhealthy, right?
Right. Yeah. The pre-existing conditions.
And it's like
right?
it's like stress, because he went into the first responders, right? It's like stress related, again, health issues, right?
Yeah, it's attacking the immune system, right?
And what does that do to your mentality when you're in that position? You're already afraid of everything already. So one little thing, one little trigger, or one buzzword on the news, you're done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're just gonna crumble with fear all over.
Well, you're sympathetic, right? Your nervous system, you're sympathetic, your fight or flight, right? Nervous system's getting turned on, and what happens when that's on, right? Your immune system turns off.
Yeah.
It turns off pretty much, right?
For sure.
And I can attest from that. Yeah,
double
I can attest.
Whammy.
Exactly, I can attest for that from fighting, or competing. Like when you fight and all that, like afterwards you can get sick a lot,
Right.
Because you gotta, if a saber-toothed tiger's coming, right? You don't need your immune system. You need to be able to run.
Right.
So your body
Survive.
So you depleted all your adrenaline and all your survival, what is it? Fluids that come out when that happens, right? And you have to recharge somehow. I have no idea because I've never been in there. So
no, but I don't know. I can't. You mentioned the news, and I can't help but think about like so much fear is this. You can get it from the floor now. The touching something.
Right.
Now it's okay. You can touch it again. You know.
Right.
You got to wear a mask. You got to do this. You got to do that. And it's just like to generate like fear. You know, the headlines, right? Especially, you know, and nobody's talking about how to strengthen the immune system. Right. So
the root cause, right?
Right. Exactly. Even if you don't, not the COVID, but anything else, you know, there's so many other, you know, diseases and things out there.
Flu, the regular flu.
Right,
everybody keeps talking about, right?
Even other stuff, right?
Yeah.
And if your immune system's not there.
Right. Yeah, now that you're talking about it, I mean, my wife can attest to this. I was always sick. You know, remember before I first started, like I'd always get sick. I have chronic bronchitis and asthma.
There you go.
So anytime I got any little cold or anything, I knew it was going right to my chest. Couldn't breathe. A couple times I got walking pneumonia, and I was always sick. At least once a year, I'd be down for like 2-3 weeks, right? I can't even remember the last time I was sick.
I can't even. It's like the worst thing going on right now.
You're not sick. So what are you worried about getting COVID?
Not at all. Not at all. I know I know I could do better, right? You can always be better, right? But I feel like I've prepared myself enough from a fitness and health standpoint. I'm eating right. I'm eating whole foods,
food,
nutrition. I'm working out, making sure that, you know, you take necessary precautions, right? I'm not going around licking people on the forehead, right? But, you know, it's just.
Not even Aaron.
No, especially not
like
Aaron.
Him, yeah. That's why I sleep with one eye open around this guy.
I know where that forehead's been.
It's that Asian persuasion here. A couple glasses of wine.
There you go. Hey, watch out. No, it's just I'm not worried about it at all. You know, and I understand there are people, and people do have legitimate concerns.
For sure.
Right.
Well, there's a lot of unknowns, right?
Right.
That's why I say I respect everyone's position about it. You know, people are worried about certain things, have no control. You know what I mean?
But overall, I just think it should be the immune training your immune system and getting your health strong should be marketed rather than this fear. Like, what's the goal with that?
So like you're gonna shut down the one place that will help combat those pre-existing conditions, right? Diabetes, obesity, right? Gyms and fitness trainers, they are the people that help, right? Those are the people that are gonna help the population through this. Right. Obviously, the first responders do a great job treating the acute, conditions.
Right.
But let's just try not to get there. Right. Let's try to get healthy.
I mean, you could take. I mean, I took a basic health class. You know, in college when I was trying to play baseball when I was 30. I told you that.
Yeah.
So I was taking the health class, and I was like, this is great because I'm already doing fitness and stuff. I'm gonna get an A++ here. I don't even have to study. Right. And so they got to this part in the curriculum where they're starting naming off all these diseases like sickle cell, heart disease, blah, 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 blah. And they're doing that because they're giving you a list of all the remedies for it. You know, maybe what medication you might want to take. Maybe some require like some massage works or this and that. So, I'm looking at the first one and I went through it and I'm noticing like the treatments and stuff. And then I didn't really pay attention at first until I went through a few of them. It's probably like, the whole every page was another disease, right? And then after I got through about 3 of them, I started looking at similarities. And at the very top of the list, what does it say?
Stress.
It says exercise and diet for treatment on all of them. So I was like, hold on, there's a kind of recurring theme here. Of course, they had the pill you can take there and all these other treatments, but at the top, treatment was exercise and diet. And I was like, wait. Exercise and diet. Went to the next itis. Exercise and diet. Another one. Exercise diet. Exercise diet. Exercise diet. Exercise diet. I was like, what? There it is.
What? You can cure yourself by moving and eating healthy.
Every one of them.
It doesn't have to be like not delicious. It can be delicious, right?
And don't get me wrong. It's not like you're going to be cured from it. Some say it'll. What's the word I'm looking for? You can manage it. Some of the things.
Right.
Stuff that you just can't get rid of, right? Like an autoimmune disease, it's more manageable.
Like MS, right?
Yeah, it's more manageable. You're not going to let it take over your life, But you go to the doctors and they tell you these things. What do they do to you? They put that in your head that you can't do nothing.
Right.
And so that's the last thing you're going to look for is exercise and diet. You're going to think you're doomed. Nothing's going to work, which is totally false.
Yeah. Yeah. There's you go to the doctor and you have to keep your eyes open, right? And like of course it's like mindset too, right? What you believe and how you think, right? It affects what you can do, right? And
placebo.
I mean,
It's huge.
Your mindset, right? What you think is what you become, right? And there's I had a capoeira master. His name's Master Shushu. Like, man, this guy can move. He's like one of the best. I mean, he's just crazy, He grew up. His dad's like this capoeira master. He's a capoeira master, Wow. He's not that old. He's like maybe your early 30s,
Okay.
And he has a thing. His system is called enjoy yourself. Like movement or something, enjoy yourself, It's just because capoeira is like, it's like martial art. But,
right.
That's so fun.
there's a lot of politics and stuff, but he's just, take it easy and enjoy yourself, like, and move, right? Move your body and feel good. And so he was diagnosed with MS.
Oh, really? Dang.
And, he's like a crazy mover. And so, like your autoimmune system, so your myelin, right? Your immune system attacks your myelin, right? So like your movement and all kinds of things can happen. Everybody's different, of course,
Mm-hmm.
But he started going blind. He started of course, he had no spatial awareness. He started to lose all these things, and he's this capoeira master, And so then he went to the doctor, and then they're like, yeah, you need to take these drugs, So he started taking the drugs. He started gaining weight. He started, kind of getting sad, getting depressed, And then his body was rejecting it, is what he said. And so he started taking the drugs. And then he started feeling better.
Wow.
And now he doesn't take drugs. He make sure he eats the right way. And of course his mindset, right? He doesn't let things like stress him out. And of course he's moving with the capoeira.
Right.
And so it's all good, Like I said, everybody's different, but man, a lot of things for sure can be, taken care of with like lifestyle, right? Like movement, right? Movement and nutrition, right?
I mean, at the same time, like I look at it from the other side. I can't blame people all the time if they don't have the information,
Right?
And
right.
They pick their careers based off of the the type of package they're going to get: full covered insurance, they have a job, pay for it.
Sure.
So why were they not going to take advantage of that and go to the doctor, right? And believe everything they say. They know they got that white coat, they got the PhD. What they say is gold. You know what I mean? But they're human, and no one's immune to human error. You know what I mean?
I went to the fashion. I've been like obsessed with. If I hadn't met Scott, right, I wouldn't have gone down this path, like 100%, right? And so I've been like, everything Scott, of course, like puts out there. I just try to study and I just try to like learn more and more about it. But like any kind of neuroscience things, like or fascia, I'm just like kind of obsessed on. And so a couple of years ago, I always kind of bring this up at the fascia conference. I went to the fascia conference in Berlin, and they had all these like Nobel Prize nominees and stuff, and like heavy hitters, in this kind of field, and not just that field, but like it's very cutting edge, like pathologists and like just super heavy hitter people, and they were all humble enough to say, we think, but we don't know.
Perfect.
We think, but we don't know.
Yeah.
I was telling you, I did that dissection, and you start to, untreated cadavers, right? And we basically, take them from the skin down all the way down to the bones, right? And you start to break things down, and you start to look at the body, like I held the brain and the eye inside the eyes, and and you start to kind of in the organs and just how everything's like interconnected, and the tendons and the ligaments touching it. Yeah. Like aliens, man. Like aliens.
Crazy.
And just makes you realize how intelligently we're designed and how we have no idea how we are, what's going on. We have no idea. That's the reality of it, right?
Works, right?
And so somebody to say, no, this is the way.
Right.
Like even like whatever side you're on, you don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just a guess, right? And like our gut instincts, those kinds of things, they're very powerful, right?
Yeah.
They're very powerful for a reason. Like any powerful person or super successful person, you talk to them and they listen to their instincts and their guts, right? Their stomach, like what? How does that even work,
Yeah, just I mean, it's like you said, the body is so complex and it's so tied together, right?
I mean, man, if you would have asked me like 20 years ago, like, I'm from Santa Fe, New Mexico, and there's a lot of like hippies and those kinds of people there. I would have laughed, man. Chakras and all these things. And then I'm now listening to Dr. Joe Dispenza, and he's talking about the line in the chakras and the spiral effect, pineal gland, and you got to, get all the things aligned, and then you can tap into that, to that flow state, into like the quantum and all these things. I would have laughed, man. I'd be like, what? Yeah, right, you know? But we have no idea, man. We have no idea. We're just like, we think, right? The best guy in the world thinks, but we have no idea. So anybody to say that they know, right? And just to trust them just because they're a PhD doctor. And a lot of these doctors, like, you know, I'm no doctor, right? Okay. But like, they're not up to date, man, with fascia and the latest cutting edge things.
Oh yeah. Cause you think about it, like they do these studies, right? They do these studies.
It's a study. Exactly.
They have to publish a paper.
Right.
And they go through this whole process before it becomes knowledge.
Right. It's science now, right?
Right. And then then it has to go to those schools, right?
Right.
And then
it's a whole
doctors
process.
have to go another 8 years of school. So
Right.
you're looking at maybe 16 years
Right.
for something that has been found out and proven to even reach a medical professional, right? Maybe, you know, there are those teaching schools, right? I mean, I'm not a doctor and I don't know but if you just look at it from that perspective on the studies and how long it takes to go through medical school to get that information,
right.
I mean, yeah, there's a huge lag time for sure.
Lag time.
For sure.
Yeah, like, you know, when I went going back to that conference, that fascia conference, it's just super interesting, you know, because you had all these super heavy, you know, top of the food chain people, right? And they had all these studies, right? And according to this study, this and that, we know this and that, you know. And then I'm like, you know, of course I'm like obsessed with Scott's work. And then I'm like, well, Scott's been saying this stuff for 20 years before the, you know, the imaging that we have now, all the things that we can see now with the technology, right? And he's been saying these things for 20 years. And Aaron Cruz is an example. I'm an example. Well, you know, I'm like newer, but like how many years ago was that where you broke your neck and healed yourself?
05, 06.
So, I mean, that's almost 15 years ago, right? And so it's like repeatable, right? And so, yeah, he's been saying all these things. And so, like, man, you know, we don't know, right? And you have to have, like, you know, like you're saying, like you kept your mind open.
Yeah.
Right.
Definitely.
And maybe you know, like going to the doctor, sometimes like, you know, your bone's sticking out. Like sometimes it's the right thing, right?
There's some amazing physicians out there.
Right, for sure. 100%.
Throughout my career, I've worked for healthcare organizations.
Yeah.
They are miracle workers.
Yeah, for sure. 100%.
But, you know, like you said, there's other ways.
Just because they're a doctor or they're this, you know, like you have to keep.
Yeah, for sure.
Take everything with a grain of salt, you know.
I'm not saying that, like, if I have, you know, cancer, I'm not going to go see, you know, oncologists. Yes, I'm going to go do that. That's their training. Yeah. That's what they're trained to do, right? They know how to treat that, you know, specific disease. So I'm going to listen to them for sure. But if it's something to me, I mean, this is just my outlook, right?
Sure,
if it's something like, you know, my stress headaches, right?
Yeah.
You know, I'm going to try to keep my mind open and try to go based off of my feeling, my gut, right?
There you go. There you go. See?
I feel is best for me.
That's it.
Right. If I went through and exhausted all options and then, you know, maybe SSRIs would have been the best route for me. And who knows, I might not have had any side effects, right? It might have just made everything good for me just because that's maybe how my brain from a chemical imbalance standpoint was acting, right? But I chose a different route. And I think people should just remain open and do the research and you know,
follow their inner instincts, right?
Right.
Be allowed to do
it's
that.
your body, right?
That's it. That's it.
And you can see how we're probably the only species that doesn't do what its primal instinct is supposed to do. And why is that? Because of our strong brains. That's why. You know, our brains are so powerful. We're able to stop ourselves.
Overrides, right?
Yeah, from our natural stuff we're supposed to do. It's crazy, right?
Like little kids, right? They know what to do, right?
Too smart for our own good. That's where that comes in.
For sure. Yeah, the human brain's an interesting thing. You know, it's just, it'll always try to find the path to least resistance for the most part, right? Because its whole thing is trying to, I forgot which book I was reading or podcast I was listening to, but there was somebody talking about how, you know, the human brain is just all about efficiency, right? If you're, you know, you have an infection, it's going to, you know, move resources to go fight that infection, you know, screw everything else, right? If you're tired, it's going to say, hey, buddy, just go ahead, lay down. You know, you're fine, right? We're going to conserve energy here because you're tired, right? But it's going to take you.
Autonomic nervous system is just like,
right?
It knows, right?
Yeah. But it just takes like mindset, right? It takes mindset to being
open, not
being open to push yourself, right? To say, yeah, I'm tired, but I think I do a little bit more here, right? And doing it and having that approach from a knowledge base perspective, right? And that's what I found. We recently went through a 28-day HRP, put with all of our members while COVID was happening. So that was kind of cool. Everybody was going through an HRP remotely. And I learned a lot, and I feel like a lot of our members learned a lot about recovery, right? I learned a lot about my heart rate, right? And dialing back when I needed to dial back. And
less is more.
Yeah, definitely. And it really helped me get into tune with my body. Because there's no wiggle room. You can't screw around when you're going through that 28-day, push. It's tough. It's tough on the body. It's tough on the mind. Working out every single day for 28 days. Because if I want to screw off and not eat properly, well, I'm going to feel it the next day for sure, or if I don't get enough rest, right? I won't be able to recover for that next high intensity, right? And I feel it, and it's very apparent. If you don't put yourself and challenge yourself in that manner, right? Let's say we're putting our members through a 4-day wave right now, teaching them that
4-day wave.
Yeah. So, the no low.
Yep.
Yeah. So that way it going from that HRP to a 4-day wave, it's been a huge adjustment, especially for me and a lot of the members that we've heard from as well. It was like, they're so used to go. Now it's a no day. Oh, what would I do? I feel like I got to go do something. No, you really have to concentrate on your breathing, your mobility, where are those aches and pains at, right? And really concentrate on those things to prepare yourself for the day after that. It's all about sustainability because HRP, you can't sustain that. Nobody can.
Right.
It's crazy. You'll hurt yourself, right? If you go beyond longer than that, keep pushing that hard, that long. And putting ourselves through that and then go into a 4-day wave, it was really, really eye-opening for me. I learned a lot. And it's just, you have to have that knowledge base. And that's what this system, I feel like, provides.
Gives that knowledge and awareness.
Yeah. You from the...
Not just training or like your fitness, but for life, right?
And everything that you do. It's great is as you're going through it, you're getting answers.
Yeah.
It's like that you find yourself within.
Definitely. I mean, even it for everybody, if you're a kind of a data and analytics person, it has that for you because you can see your times, right? The worksheets, right? You can see how many reps you got that last time you did it in that HRP, right? And what your heart rate, your average heart rate was at. And then you can see progressively how well you did. So let's say, we did like a Bravo every minute on the minute, and you see like what that score was, right? And then you do it another day, a couple days, several days later, and then you see, well, how come you look at the numbers like, why did I score so low? And then you're kind of thinking it back, oh yeah, well, I didn't get that much sleep. So you start connecting things, right? And that's what was really for me. I love data. I'm a data person. I love numbers.
It's like the cumulative effect, right? Of sleep and stress things, what's going on in your life.
So you're able to easily identify like, oh, okay. Versus, if you're qualitative, right? You're just saying, I felt this way. And then why did I feel this way? And you have to, it's really tough when you don't have the information in front of you, right?
Oh, it helps. So encouraging, right?
Yeah, it definitely does.
You see your work getting done.
Yep. If you like the check the box kind of person, you're like, yep, got those many rounds in, right? Yeah. So that's why for me, like, there's no other system. I mean, there's no system out there for me. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It's too easy to stay engaged with it. There's too many things to think about. You can focus on your technique, your discomfort, your exertion, and then calculate all that together in the whole workout for overall feeling, and then see how you do the next time. Remember that. Maybe you have it on paper. Maybe you have a good memory about how you felt. Now you're sophisticating your movement. You're able to do more reps now under a harder, a longer lever. So all that stuff, you're just tracking in your head. You're like, man, I am progressing. Not just with reps, not just with endurance, with the quality of my movement.
recovery,
everything, faster recovery,
nutrition.
One thing that's cool. It's kind of off topic, but not really. It's about the 4-day wave. So I just watched this documentary about the fastball and pitching, right? And they had Nolan Ryan on there, and he figured it out on his own. The coaches are like, when do you want to pitch? How much do you want to pitch?
You picked up on it because you studied Scott's work.
Because of the 4-day wave. Right. You know what he said? You know what Nolan Ryan said was the perfect amount of days of rest for him before he pitched again?
4 days.
And I was like, I saw that. And once again, Sonnen, you're a genius. I'm like, how? Like, people have been trying to figure this stuff out for years, baseball.
It blows my mind.
They still can't figure out how to recover a pitcher. And one of the greatest pitchers ever just, pretty much just said exactly Scott's work in one sentence. You know what I mean? I was like, wow. But no one would ever know that unless you went through that. And imagine if you had that knowledge, you knew that about baseball, and you're able to apply the two together. Next thing you know, no Tommy John surgery. You got pitchers pitching until they're 45, like Nolan Ryan.
Because you knew that 4-day wave.
You knew how to recover. You knew, not to get back out there again and straight. He pitched till he was 43, and then he kept going until he finally got hurt. Then
heat,
yeah.
Dude, longest ever. That's crazy. What was it, like 30 years, 20 years, 27 years? No one will ever beat his stuff.
Yeah.
So that was a
ton of innings
too,
right?
I was like, wow. So I'm constantly seeing CST and TACFIT everywhere in life. Every story, how their brains work, how depression. Maybe people like even me, like a lot of people don't know that, I had a real bad social anxiety. Like forever I had that. Like I had to really psych myself up to go somewhere. And so what did I do to combat that a lot? Well, I drank a lot. So I would drink before I go somewhere around a bunch of people to loosen me up. I didn't even, like I knew I had a problem with it, but now, being more aware of that, like I worked really hard to put myself in social anxiety situations so I could get over that. And nobody knew how hard that was for me. They just thought I was weird. I was weird. I'm like, you know what? I feel really weird too around all you weird people. And so I feel like, the only reason I'm bringing that up is because this COVID stuff going on right now. Man, I've been so scared my whole life, fear inside, to get out of my own head. You think I want to be afraid anymore about anything at all? No. You think anything's as bad as that, being in your own head, afraid for you don't even know why, And so, like, I don't have the energy to be afraid of stuff. It's just, stuff's going to happen. There's an action, there's a reaction, and now I just got to, just not be, like, I don't want to be scarred emotionally. I still want to be emotional and show feeling and stuff like that. But, you get scars from everything,
The greatest fear is the fear itself, right?
Yeah, definitely. You let it take over, or you just take over, right? Yeah. I mean, you got to make that decision in your life if you're going to let it rule what and how you go about your day,
right? Or
you do something about it. You can eat better, right? Nutrition.
Yeah.
You don't have to jump into a program right away. A lot of the times, some of the people that come to us, we just start them step count. Just what we measure your step count throughout the week, and then we slowly increase it before we even put you through putting any load on you, right? Have you really concentrate on activity and nutrition.
That's probably the biggest thing is I really try to show people how you can eat healthy and, not really stress you, because you don't want it to be a stressful thing, right? And so I show simple recipes because it's a skill. You have to learn how to cook. If people don't have that skill, you can't just be like, why don't you just eat healthy? They don't know how to cook. They can't, they wrap their brain around the process of all that. So they're just going to go grab something. They have other stuff to worry about. You know what I mean? So Mike has really put together a great format, playbook to where it's just step 1, step 2, you follow. It's super simple. And if you really want something out of your life that has been fleeting you for so long, I mean, it doesn't get any easier than this, just step 1, step 2, step 3. And at the same time, even though we make it super easy, I know it's not easy for people because you're changing habits. Right. That's never easy.
You got to be willing to walk the walk, right?
Yeah. And that's why it's
brave
great.
And
if you have that support,
music, that's it.
Yeah. If you have that support group, you feel, You know, when it gets hard, you can lean on each other that are stronger, people that are doing it, you know.
That's like one of the questions we actually, when
I believe in the brick and mortar, like just in person thing, you know.
You have to. I mean, we were talking about this the other night, right? Yeah. You know, humans are tribal by nature, right? We want to be around other humans, even though sometimes, you know, people say, "Oh, I'm an introvert," but there's still a part of you that wants to be
for sure
a part of something,
right?
Because what is what's the worst thing you can do to a human, right?
Isolation, right?
Solitary, right? Put them in solitary, right? Why do you think that's the worst thing? Because we want to be around, no matter who we are, we want to be around other humans, right? We want to interact, right? And so that's why I think, yes, there's going to be, with this whole COVID thing, there is a whole new market out there, right? Some people are going to find out saying, you know what, I like having, you know, online classes, right? Some people might say, you know, I like a little bit of both. Or some people, I just can't wait to get it back into the gym, right? I can't wait. That's the only way for me. And, you know, as
I like
gym
both.
owners,
I like both myself. I mean, it has nothing to do with me when I say I like both. The reason I like the online stuff is what we just talked about, the 4-day wave, being able to, everyone's slowing down and I'm even able to give them the information, the education that they can apply to their workouts. And when before they were just coming in, their lives are so busy to come in and get the workout, they really don't know what the philosophy is behind what they're doing. They just know they're getting a workout and leaving, they feel good. Now I'm able to explain it. You know, everyone's slowing down where I can explain all that stuff to them. They could put more into their workout. So I'm really excited for everybody, you know, that, you know, was able to, you know, take this opportunity and learn this stuff, you know, take that time, you know.
Yeah, we've had a lot of our members being able to do the, you know, the Zoom classes, but they weren't doing TACFIT before, but now they are. And they're like, damn,
that's awesome.
Shit. Yeah. I mean, we're, you know, every day I'm talking about it, every day we're doing it at the gym. So more and more people are integrating, but actually for them, because there's no jiu-jitsu now, right?
Right.
So what's left, right?
Yeah.
TACFIT. And so they actually had to do it, and they're doing it.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, guess what's happening?
There's always jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Right. No, you know, you played chess, right, with the chess player today.
Oh, that was amazing.
He blind, right?
Yeah, he put on blindfolds and then turned his back on me and said, "Tell me where you play, and I'll tell you where I play." And I was like, "What?"
And with that, like within like a second, you took like, you know, like a minute, couple minutes, right, to make your move, and he's like within like a second or two.
Yeah, the board had the letters A through G and the numbers 1 through 10. He's like F10. Move my thing here. I move there, and he's like, "Where'd you move yours?" 5, 6. Okay, move my bishop to 7, 9. Or I'm like, what?
Yeah, I knew you was in trouble.
Checkmate.
Yeah. I knew he was in trouble when you was like, "Hey, why don't you play Aaron?" And the guy busted it out of his bag, straight up chess pieces, and I was like, "Oh, that's it.
He's training to do that chess boxing.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
You guys never heard of chess boxing? You play chess.
Check
one
it out.
round
for what, 3 minutes? How's that work?
So you play. I think it's 2 minutes, either 2 or 3 minutes. I'm not sure. But one round, right? You play chess.
And then after
next round is boxing.
Then you go right back
to chess.
Yeah.
And whoever's the last guy, you know.
But you could checkmate at either one. If you checkmate at boxing,
then
you
it's
win.
over. Yeah.
You checkmate in chess, you won.
And then one round, maybe the first round of chess, like the guy, you know, one of the guys is really strong, but maybe the next round, maybe the guy that's even really good, right? But then he gets beat up, and then the next round he's a mess, right?
That's so
he loses his confidence, and so he loses everything.
Like when he told me about that, I was like, oh, I'm looking this shit up right now.
So I went on
YouTube. I was watching. While they were playing.
Right?
I also want to watch
the human spirit.
And he's gonna try to do something in the Guinness Book of World Record too.
Yeah.
And what is it? What is it?
We'll keep it on the secret. Yeah, I'm trying to help him.
On the logo.
I'm trying to support him. Yeah.
Yeah. It's gonna be real interesting. I can't wait to see that.
Awesome. I'm a big fan of his. You know, he's been helping my son at chess, and he's you know helps all the kids in the community.
That's awesome.
So
cool
I'm
guy.
glad you brought him over. I was like, you're amazing.
Yeah,
and that's what I mean. Like everybody in their own regard is, you know, has a superpower
for sure.
You know what I mean? And it's just silly if you can't get out of your own space to see that in someone else. You know what I mean?
Right.
And and that's another reason I work hard to get out of my anxiety, because I can't be present for people, be there for people if I can't get out of my own head, and that's more important to me than any kind of fear or whatever I got, is being there for people, that clears all fear from me. I could shield somebody, or of course I got to be careful with that too.
Like Hanzo Gracie, he's like one of the big leaders in jiu-jitsu and stuff, fighter, even MMA, right? And he's like, yeah, I don't know where I would be if it weren't for the students. You know, everybody's like, he's like a god almost, right? And he's like, I don't know where I would be without the students. I'd probably be like homeless in a gutter somewhere, you know, because it's the students and the people that really make him, you know, be able to lead and, you know, be a good person and want to be a good, you know, do a good job.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, a lot of the things
I can totally relate.
Yeah.
You know, it's our group. It's the tribe.
Sure.
It's the,
like, I've never really got that because, you know, once again, I wasn't in the fitness industry. Right. But when we first started opening and we rolled out our first 6-week program with, you know, the TACFIT movements on top of nutrition, on top of one-on-one coaching, just seeing the feedback and the people so happy and the changes in their lives, and people coming up to me and saying, thank you guys for opening here, right? I'm like, oh, I get it now. I get it why you all do this.
It's gotta be one of the best feelings in the world, right?
That was amazing. Yeah. I mean, I don't do any of the coaching. I'm the guy behind the scenes, right? I do all the, you know, I'm the monkey behind pushing the keyboards, right? But just seeing that,
everybody has their part, right?
I wouldn't be able to help. We wouldn't be able to help as many people as we do without you.
Everybody has their part.
For sure. But I mean, just seeing that is like, it's like a light bulb.
There's something powerful.
Yeah, it's like that's amazing that you can actually impact
making a difference
somebody's life in that manner just by caring, right? Just by showing you care, utilizing the skills and tools to impart.
It's not how much you know; it's how much you care.
Right. For sure. And this guy, I mean, you know, he just
knows
cares.
And he cares.
Yeah.
All right, you guys flew down here. And you're driving back because you guys bought 57 club bells, lighter weights, right?
Sorry, we bought it all, guys. We cleared this guy out.
and how was the Club Bell Mobility 101? How was that born?
Club Bell Mobility 101. How was it born? Let's see. How did that conception happen? Well, I definitely, you know, into flow, and then of course the want to, you know, do a trial by fire, right? You know, and then I think when I first started training club bells, and you know, I've always been active already, and so I really enjoyed what the club bells did for me already, because I played a lot of baseball, so I understood the rotational torque force, and all that stuff. So I was able to progress pretty good with that. Of course, my technique was a little crazy at first. I had a big old mill up here, and it was all nuts and stuff. But I was able to manage the 10, you know, without, you know, having to use a 5, right? But at the same time, you know, working those and getting better at it, you know, I was able to form trial by fire 5-pounders. When I started teaching the mobility, I wanted to get a little bit more and add a little bit more to the mobility for the members, right? Instead of just doing the interval all the time. I definitely don't. It's a system that you can create with, and you kind of. It's not choreographed, so when you go through the empty flow, it can kind of adjust and change every time, which I really enjoy, and that's why everyone says it's a different workout every time, even though it's not, right? And so then I just started adding the club bells to the same elbow rotations and stuff like that, and choking up on them so I can stay rooted into my structure still, not compensate and leak out, which is super important. And by doing that, I mean you could tell the change in the benefit you got from the mobility by holding on to the tool, and then being able to beta test it on my members, which, you know, of course I didn't have them do anything, you know, I didn't try myself first or do myself first, but to watch them go through it and see how they feel after and see their eyes light up when they're done and telling me, well, that's really good. We got to do that more, Aaron. And I'm like, I should have been doing this more the whole time. What the And so it starts like that. I always looked at the gym where I was at, a laboratory, time to create and play, and that's what the foundation and of CST and TACFIT gives you. You know, it's it can have structure, but then it also allows you, even, you know, especially with a 4-day wave, to explore things on the no day and the light day, and then really put together a great workout for yourself if you have that capacity, or do someone else's great workout that already put that together. So being able to use the 5s to really, you know, use them properly and still get something out of it, to where you're like, is it a waste of time? You know, because a lot of people think lightweight, you're not going to get as much. Everyone wants the pump of the big weight, but it's just how you apply it to your structure. You know, longer levers, using gravity, using your body weight, I mean, and you'll see.
Yeah,
it's gonna be great.
Looking forward.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be awesome.
I mean, I went through it, during the filming today, and my neck is a constant area for me. We all have our stuff. I understand that. My head is probably too big for my Puerto Rican head. Even my even with the chiropractor. I mean, not inside, but I mean like the actual way. I know what you're thinking. But the side, and like the weight of
the actual size.
And so I feel like that's my chiropractor tell me all the time. It's kind of like having a plate on top of a stick. You know what I mean? So a lot of people have problems right there. And if you don't open up your shoulder girdle, you'll feel that. And so me going through all those motions today, I opened up my shoulder girdle. That's all I did, and my neck's not aching. And everything feels loose, and it rarely feels like that. Unless I'm consistent with my workouts every day. So I mean.
Yeah, and I think it's gonna be super beneficial to so many people just because, my day job, I work in HR. 8-10 hours a day. I'm much like everybody in this day and age. What are we doing? We're at a desk, sitting on a computer. We're in this position, right?
And doesn't that create stress, like being there to your body?
All the time, yeah.
And if you're able to tap into your sympathetic thing and release that
parasympathetic,
and that's what the light clubbells are going to do for you. So you have those at your desk, you have enough space, you kind of just flow those things around, relax your whole body instead of and you could probably, people say get up from your desk or walk around 30 minutes or whatever, every 30 minutes, whatever the case may be. If you have those clubbells, you can easily go through something that is not stressful and totally relaxing once you understand how to use it and get done with everything that you were doing in like 20 minutes or 30 minutes. You could probably do it in 5 minutes and then have a seat again and go back to it. And that's what these things will allow you to do. Because, I mean, it's just too easy, too fun just to swing something around. I mean, we did it all the time as a kid. We'd grab something, we'd whip it around, got a rope with something at the end of it. You're going to swing it around. So you don't even know why you're doing it. I have to do it. That's why. You know what I mean? That's what this is right here.
Amazing, man. Can't wait. Looking forward to it. Next month, Club Bell Mobility 101, Aaron Cruz Productions.
And then I want to get better with the mace too. So I'm stoked to have Eric on here, part of the
coming soon.
Crew, man. Yeah. So that's, I mean,
great.
That mace workout, like I've seen people say you can't do it in a group class. Oh, you sure can.
Yeah, we sure did. We sure did here when you guys came down the first time.
Yeah, it's probably
I wasn't sure too because it seemed like there wasn't going to be enough space, but I don't know how many people we had in the room. It totally works.
And it stays around your sphere, you know what I mean, around this area. I think clubbells take up more space because you're able to get out here and stand from there.
Depending on what you do, right? The exercise, but either way it works.
I mean, with the mace, I mean, you could totally do it. But it wouldn't seem like it because it's a bigger thing, bulkier thing. But yeah, it's great.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you. Thank you for coming down. Thank you so much for all the work you guys do in your community, right? And I thank you guys for, everything that you guys are doing for TACFIT and for our community around the world, right? Thank you, Aaron Cruz, personally.
Thank you, Professor.
For, ESIC gave you the shout out, and that's kind of how I first kind of got connected to you in a way, because he showed you love. He's like, Aaron Cruz, he's my mentor, this and that. And I was kind of following ESIC, and I'm like, what? Who is this guy, And then you reached out to Scott every year, and you didn't stop.
Yeah, I love that guy.
And then we got connected, and so I'm beyond excited, and I feel like we haven't even started yet, So I'm so excited to see these things come to fruition, all the things that can really help people, right? Live their best lives.
Definitely. Super excited, super appreciative of you having us here, and super excited. I feel like we're just on this crest, right? I feel like we're riding that crest, and it's really exciting for sure. So appreciate it, Professor.
Thank you guys
for having us.
How can people find the gym?
So we're
what's the website?
Website's
what's the social media?
Yeah, altaperformanceinstitute.com. You can find us there. Social media, Facebook, Alta Performance Gym on Facebook, Alta Performance Gym on Instagram. Follow us. Got alta.cruz over here.
Damn, he's good at that. I need to get better at that.
Yeah, alta.mikey. So follow us, hit us up. Have any questions?
Tap in.
We're here for you.
Thank you guys.
I'll try not to use this voice either.
Please don't.
All right. All right. Well,
Well, thank you.
Take care.